Dirty Sex Short Stories, Explicit Adult Stories Collection by Melanie Landish. Narrated by Alexandra Cohler.
Hole in the wall. "Hey, Daniel, what seems to be the problem?" Jillian asked as she walked into Jupiter's. Jupiter's was a one-stop shop for all types of clothing, and on the main road of a small New England town, it was constantly bustling. Jillian was the owner, a hard-working woman always willing to roll up her sleeves and tackle a new project. Today, however, she had no sleeves to roll up, wearing a tank top and jeans, the latter hugging her wide maternal hips, accentuating the bouncing curve of her rear end. Just a few minutes ago, she had been at home, relaxing by the pool on her day off, when she got a call from her employee. On the phone, all Daniel had said was that there was a maintenance issue. She continued, "You said something needs to be fixed?" "A customer complained. They said that there's a busted wall in one of the dressing rooms. I checked it out and covered it with some paper so no one can see through the broken spot, but it still needs to be fixed," Daniel explained. "Oh, man," Jillian groaned. Aside from her kid, Jupiter's was her life, and every penny that wasn't going towards her son went towards the upkeep of the store. Now she had to go repair a broken wall, which probably meant spending too much money at the hardware store. "You're good with your hands, and I know you don't trust contractors, so I called you." Daniel gave her a weak smile, still feeling bad for interrupting her day off. Yeah, that was the right call. Thanks for the heads up. Did you lock the door so no one accidentally uses it?" she asked. "Of course. Here you go." He reached under the counter and pulled out a small key on a thin keychain. "It's the one at the end of the row, on the left. I put a sign on the door." Jillian took the key from him and sighed. "All right, I'll go check it out. I just hope the damage isn't too bad. Money's tight as it is. Another big expense is really going to set me back." She shot Daniel a small frown, who shrugged in return. "Just keep things running smoothly up here," Jillian said before walking towards the back of the store. As she made her way through different apartments, divided by clothing racks and half-walls, Jillian looked around at the customers around her. Summer was coming to an end, school had just started back up, and parents were taking their children back to school shopping. Additionally, the store's Labor Day sale was in full swing, so frugal shoppers were bargain hunting for the best deals. "We're no Walmart," Jillian thought to herself, "but we're still pretty busy for a Sunday afternoon." Passing the threshold from the floor of the store to the small corridor that held the dressing rooms, Jillian felt the environment change. There wasn't the active air conditioning blowing back there like it was up front, so the air was warmer and just slightly heavier on her soft skin. Also, the light pop music that filled the floor was almost muted in the back. Jillian could barely make out the words of the singer, mostly hearing the bass line and the occasional high note. As she strode down the hallway, passing door after door of dressing rooms, she counted that only the first 2 of the 15 were in use, currently occupied by what she deduced to be friends trying on swimsuits, chatting as they changed. By the time she got to the end of the line of doors, she couldn't help but realize how quiet it had gotten. The music was almost entirely absent, and she could hear herself breathing. Out of order. Jillian read the sign taped to the front of the door aloud. Daniel had scribbled the note onto a sheet of printer paper with a big marker. She inserted the small key into the lock, opening the door before entering and shutting the door behind her. As she stuffed the key into her pocket, she noticed another piece of paper taped to the wall between her and the next changing room. It was lowered down by her waist. Nothing was scrawled on this one, and Jillian approached it with confusion before grabbing hold of one corner and pulling it off the wall. She couldn't help but let out a small gasp upon seeing what was behind the paper, letting the sheet fall to the floor as she looked on at the glory hole carved in the changing room wall. "Oh my God," Jillian thought to herself. "Oh my God, that's a glory hole." She could hardly believe what she was looking at. It had been the better part of 2 decades since Jillian was in college, but she knew a glory hole when she saw one. Years ago, when she had been a student, Jillian joined a sorority and found out she loved to party. At one frat house in particular, Jillian had discovered a love
Sample complete. Ready to continue?